Good evening. It's great to be here. My name's Tim. So my wife and I have been married 40 years. Yeah, been a great journey, and to have her by my side. But in those 40 years, things can happen. You can have things that you're scared about, concerned about. And my wife started this thing back when we first got married, that if she's scared or nervous or really concerned about something, she will look at me and she'll say, Tim, tell me everything's going to be okay. And I take her hand and I say, Rose, everything's going to be okay. Now, I don't know if everything's going to be okay. And she knows that I don't know that everything's going to be okay. But we know that if we stay together and with God's help, we'll be okay. So let's go back 40 years ago. And we got married. That day was wonderful. It was beautiful. No hitches in the wedding. We leave and head to Philadelphia that evening so that we could get an early flight the next morning to this great resort town called Cancún, Mexico. And so, of course, when we get up, it was the 80s and we had to have etiquette. And we dressed in our wedding trousseau outfits, 100% wool, going to Mexico. And we got on the plane and we were flying there and they served us Mexican food and when the airlines were concerned with our nutrition. And so we started eating and it was delicious. And about 15 minutes later, Rose leans over to me and she said, I'm not feeling very good. And then about 15 minutes later, I leaned over to her and I said, I'm not feeling very good. So we descended, we're landing on the tarmac, and we had to walk on the tarmac towards the airport, and it looked like the airline was renting space from a mechanic's garage at the time. And so we walked through the garage doors, and then at that moment, I needed a bathroom really bad. And so I ran to the bathroom, and it was the most disgusting bathroom I have ever seen in my life. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. It must have been the grace of God that somehow was able to hold things together, if you know what I'm trying to say. And then we had to get on the bus and ride to our hotel. And I thought, okay, we're in Cancun. How long can it be? 15 minutes. 45 minutes later, we get to the hotel. And then we have 20 minutes standing in line to get our key. And we are so sick. We finally get our key. We go up in the elevator. We get out. We're walking along. The doors are on this side. On this side, it's open. And we're walking along. I just start running. I'm running and running. I'm like yelling back, Rose, run, just run. And we're running and running. And after a bit, I see it. And there it is. And I'm like, no. Rose goes, what's happening? I said, just run, keep going. No. We get up at the door, and then I see that it's the cleaning lady's cart is at the door. And then we go in, and the cleaning lady is in the bathroom cleaning. And so this lovely lady, we're trying to tell her that she needs to leave immediately. And she only speaks Spanish. My wife could speak high school Spanish, and I could speak a little bit of English. And so we were talking and trying to get her out. I'm using sign language to get her out. Rose uses Spanish, and we got her to leave. And then at that point, I think I blacked out because I can't remember who made it into the bathroom first. But when I came to, we were laying on the bed in her underwear. Rose is bawling and sobbing like, our honeymoon is so over. Oh. And then I realized, oh my gosh, we're supposed to be downstairs. Apple Tours has given us this presentation about the whole week. We got to go. So we got our clothes back on. We went back downstairs. We're so sick. And we're sitting there, and Rose looks over at me, and she goes, do you have the key? I said, yes, I have the key. She goes, do you have the key? I said, I have the key. She goes, do you have the key? I said, I have the key. And then she goes, I need the key. I got to go to the bathroom. I said, oh, okay. So she goes running. And then she goes, I need Benadryl. I said, okay. So I go to the pharmacy. I get Benadryl for her, and I get Alka-Seltzer because that, my dad said, if you're ever feeling bad, That is a cure-all. Take Alka-Seltzer. So I go up to the bedroom, and she is there. She takes her Benadryl. I take my Alka-Seltzer. And then I lay down, and oh, man, I was kind of starting to feel good. And I said to Rose, I said, you know what? I'm going to get something cold to drink. So I went to the mini bar, and I got a Diet Coke. Ooh, that felt good. I opened that up, and I just guzzled that down. Oh, it felt so good. And then I felt that Diet Coke going down, meeting that Alka-Seltzer. Now, this is when I should probably tell you that I'm a projectile vomiter. Yeah. So that hit each other. I sat up in bed and I ran around the bed. There was a wall there that separated the bed from the sink and then the bathroom. And I ran around and Mount Vesuvius exploded. I didn't make it to the toilet. And so by then, Rose is hearing me. And she is sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And so I get myself kind of together and I would go around the corner and go, hey, everything's going to be okay. Oh. And I go around and I come back again. Everything's going to be okay. Oh. And this went on for a while. I finally got myself together, got things cleaned up, and I went back to the bed. And I then laid down. And she reached over, grabbed my hand, and she said, Tim, tell me everything's going to be okay. And I said, Rose, everything's going to be okay. And then 40 years later, everything's okay. Thank you.